at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Maries.
And I'm Brooke Wagner. Tonight, new numbers from the southern border show migrant apprehensions are near record levels. More than 207,000 migrants were caught at the U.S.-Mexico border during the month of June. 21,000 of those were in the Tucson sector. So far this fiscal year, more than 1,700,000 people have been apprehended. That's more than last year, and with several months to go.
It's been a year and a half since President Joe Biden halted construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall that former President Trump had built. Governor Ducey just announced the state will take border security into its own hands. KOLD News 13 investigative reporter Shaley traveled to the border to see what the abandoned project looks like now, as state officials announced plans to invest millions on border enforcement.
Cattle rancher John Ladd says this Cochise County property has been in his family for 127 years.
This is mine, and now it's my boys and my grandkids.
Ladd says about 10.5 miles of his south fence is the U.S.-Mexico border.
And if we didn't deal with the border, I'd have almost a perfect life.
Ladd says over the last 30 years, Border Patrol has apprehended 500,000 people on his land, and traffic is picking up. Border Patrol apprehensions in the Tucson sector have increased more than 40% from last fiscal year, sitting at more than 195,000 men, women, and children.
This is the worst it's been. They're catching 100 a day on us right now.
Some of those encounters have left Ladd with images he won't forget.
What the cartel is doing to their own people, that is absolutely devastating. The amount of deaths we've had on this ranch with dehydrated people, they just go off and leave them.
Cochise County Sheriff Mark Daniels joined me along the border.
What you're looking here is all the steel physical barrier that was prepared to go up that was never installed. When President Biden took over, the first thing he did on an executive order was declare the southwest border a non-emergency. As a result, he halted the infrastructure, but he also halted subterranean technology, sensors, lighting, road infrastructure for the agents and my deputies to get up and down this road, and everything's just been stalled.
He says some undocumented migrants are climbing these 30-foot steel posts. Others are cutting their way through, and it's not easy. Many are reinforced with concrete and rebar. Take a look at how many times this portion of the wall has been cut and repaired and marked on the 16th, the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 25th. I'm told one of the reasons why this might be a popular place to cross is because it's low-lying and harder for Border Patrol to detect. It's also only about 300 feet from the San Pedro River, which provides a lot of tree cover.
You can walk right through. You can walk right into Mexico right now.
Some completed areas of the wall have intentional gaps, like these.
The reason we have these open is so the water can flow more easily. No matter where you look at the border, you're going to see this. You're going to see absent, the physical barrier wasn't finished, or just wide, there's nothing but a 3-wire fence, like what you see here.
Tim Williams is the sergeant of the multi-agency Southern Arizona Border Region Enforcement Team, or SABRE, composed of full-time members from Cochise County Sheriff's Office, ICE Homeland Security Investigation, and U.S. Border Patrol. Williams took us a little farther up into the Coronado National Forest, where the border wall stops and this barbed wire fence begins.
Where we're at right now is a key location where you can actually see 40-50 miles. So the cartel uses this area to put scouts to observe what's going on the border so they can coordinate the border crossings from this location.
Here there's more rugged terrain, but Williams says that hasn't stopped people from crossing.
We definitely see larger groups coming through here.
Williams says smarter technology is key.
That ground package is part of the sensors that were supposed to be on the wall. It's in the ground on the fence. That was supposed to allow you to know if you put a ladder on the fence, for example, they'll know a ladder was touching the fence. That was so important to us because it allowed us to know how many, what was crossing, what kind of, what we're going after.
And in a meeting with President Joe Biden, Mexico agreed to invest $1.5 billion in smart border technology. This comes as Governor Doug Ducey recently signed House Bill 2317, which allocates $335 million in state sales tax revenue to build and maintain a wall along the state's border with Mexico, purchase or install border security technologies, and to pay administrative costs. But will that money really help? And does the state have the authority to take action? I'll have those answers in my next report.